Week one of NoFap. So honestly, this is probably my 10th time getting to the 1 week point in a NoFap journey, right? I've been doing it on and off for like a year, 2 years, like trying to figure out my problems. And I've I've figured out my personal timeline for my first week, and I think it's different for different people, right? When you experience different benefits, right? The hardest parts of each time, and I just want to go through that. So I don't actually know if this is me being a weekend. It could be 8 days or 9 days. I didn't really write down the last time, um, but I feel with benefit number one, I feel like I have more energy, right? So usually your testosterone goes gradually up until you hit the seventh day, and then it usually goes back to normal, or at least a little bit higher than normal for a longer, for the rest of the time. But I'm definitely at my testosterone peak right now, and I worked out yesterday, and I had one of the best workouts I've ever had, right? I felt like I had more energy. I felt like I could, lift more weights. I felt like, I felt better. Seriously. Um, and that alone, right? Like there is a difference between NoFap. There's like different modes of NoFap, right? There's easy mode, hard mode, God mode. I'll make a video on those later. But if you do full semen retention, like, so a lot of major boxers and major UFC fighters, like I know Mike Tyson, he did not have sex or masturbate for like 2 months before a big fight because he wanted to be at his absolute physical, you know, peak. He wanted to be the peak of his physical possibilities, and he could only do that if he did not excrete any of his sperm, right? So there is a difference, and I'm sure, like, some of my benefits now could be from semen retention, right? Or could be from like placebo or from other aspects of my life that I'm improving as well as doing NoFap, right? A video ago, maybe two, I don't remember, I talked about how NoFap is a wonderful stepping stone for other aspects of your life, right? When I do NoFap, I have more energy and I feel more motivated to go to the gym. When I go to the gym, I feel more motivated to take cold showers, and then I feel good to do homework, right? And when I'm feeling good, I feel like I look good, and then I have less social anxiety, and it just creates like a whole positive feedback loop of putting in one positive and getting a lot more other positives back, right? So that's the number one reason to do NoFap. So some other benefits that I've noticed besides increased energy is I feel like my mind is less cloudy, right? I feel when I'm asked a question in class, I feel like I can respond quicker and with better answering, right? I've even looked at some of my videos over the past week, and I'm saying like, I'm saying right, I'm saying, if that makes sense. I'm just adding word vomit. I'm just adding useless words instead of pausing, right? I did it there. Oh my god, I'm thinking about it now, so it doesn't matter. But I feel that I am tripping over my words less. I feel like I'm mispronouncing words less often. I feel in class that I'm quicker, I'm sharper. My other benefits that I am feeling are, so I've said more energy, I've said less mental clouding, I've said less social anxiety, which could be in part to other things. I feel that, I don't know, my skin feels pretty good, but it's just a week. We'll see how that progresses. But I feel motivated. I feel good. Seriously, like I feel good. So when it comes to the timeline of NoFap, I feel that the third day, but the first 3 days are usually the hardest for me. usually the hardest for other people as well, because when you're heavily addicted to something, right? You can't non-cold. I mean, how are you supposed to get off NoFap besides get off of masturbation besides cold turkey? I mean, I guess you could like slowly do it. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense to me. But when you go cold turkey and your body is so used to getting tons and tons of dopamine, for the first like 3 days, it could be even longer depending on the person. I think it's also dependent on how long you've been addicted to masturbation and to what percent, right? If I think the average age that people come across pornography is like the fifth grade, right? So if you're addicted from the fifth grade until, let's say, you figure out you have a problem when you're a freshman in college, right? That's like 10 years. If you're addicted to pornography for 10 years and you're jerking off every day, and by the end of it, you're just so numb and you require so much pornography, so much stimulation to receive the same amount of dopamine as you did when you were a fifth grader, right? If you do that, NoFap's going to be a lot harder, but I think it's also going to have so much more benefit for you as well. So the first 3 days for me, I was addicted to masturbation pornography from the age of fifth grade, fourth grade, so 11, 12, up until when I was, I'd say, a sophomore in high school. So I was, let's say, 15. So there's a little bit of a difference. It's closer to 5 years instead of 10. But for 3 days, you're so used to getting a cheap, plentiful amount of dopamine, and then suddenly you don't have it, right? You feel groggy, you feel sad, you feel slow, you start trying to obtain large quantities of dopamine in other places, right? I always feel that during my first week, I am scrolling through social media a lot. Okay, not exactly so YouTube. YouTube's my problem, right? Twitch is a problem. Netflix. I'm playing a lot of video games as well. Not that those things are inherently bad, right? But my body, I feel like I need the dopamine to limit myself from going back to my old habits of achieving dopamine that, in my opinion, are worse. So I feel that whenever you start something, right, a new habit, I believe that there are different levels. There are different levels of performing that habit, right? Of inputting that habit into your day-to-day life, right? In the beginning, you have a lot of Okay, I'm going to need to write this out. In the beginning, you have tons of motivation, but you have very little experience. Right? That's the only thing that gets you through the first 3 days, is because you are motivated to do NoFap, right? You have been watching NoFap videos, you've been writing a journal, you've been working out, every single morning you've been telling yourself you are not going to jerk off today, you are great, you can achieve your dream, right? And then you get to, that kind of lasts, let's say, the first week, right? Maybe 6 days, maybe 10, different for different people. I still feel extremely motivated. In a little bit, you're going to hit a flat line. You're going to stop getting benefits as quickly and as strong as you did when you were at the 7-day mark, because your testosterone is going to go back to normal. Your dopamine levels are going to go back to normal, right? And you're not going to get all of the benefits, but your brain just needs a complete reboot, and your dopamine receptors need a complete reboot because you've been addicted to high dopamine sensations for a long period of time, right? When you get to that part, that is another part that people fail a lot on, because suddenly you don't have all of the motivation. You have a little bit more experience, but you're not experiencing all the benefits. So suddenly you go from being up here and down here to being down here for all facets. Once you get past that part, I feel like it gets a lot easy because suddenly you have tons of experience on how to control your urges. Suddenly you probably have more motivation now that you are receiving all of the benefits, and you've gone, oh my goodness, I've been going through flat lines and urges for the past however long, 2 months, let's say. I've been going through all these things for a very long period of time, and now I'm receiving all the benefits. I'm never going back. Once you get to that part, it is smooth sailing. It is so much easier to get to that part. But I'm only on day 7, right? I'm about to reach the hard part. So I've talked about, my first week, and I'm going to keep you updated about how my second week's going to go, how my third week's going to go. And seriously, like, we're doing this together, man. We're doing this together. I'm really proud of myself for reaching, a week. I feel really good. So I hope that this continues, and I hope that I can continue to inspire others to follow suit. Thank you.